Man, what a weekend it was, and what a day it was yesterday for college football, and what a day it was for the sport in general, man. We got some great college football playoff semifinal games or quarterfinal games. Couple of duds, couple of amazing games. We got half and half. Nothing like a split between the two. But we're going to break it all down right here on the Southern Sports Scene. Make sure you guys do us a favor and hit the like, share, and subscribe button down below. Make sure you turn on the bell notifications so that you are notified every time we go live here on the Southern Sports Scene. Every live show is brought to you by our good friends at Frost Buddy. Excuse me. Going over to frostbuddy.com. Use our promo code S15 to get yourself 15% off of your first purchase. Also want to thank our good friends over at Chike Nutrition. Going over to ChikeNutrition.com. Click the link below to get yourself 10% off of your first purchase and get started on your fitness journey for 2026. Okay. Let's get right into it, ladies and gentlemen. By the way, hotline is open, 843-350-2534, 843-350-2534 if you guys want to call into the show and get involved. Man, we got a lot to break down tonight. All right, let's get after it. First game. We already broke down the Miami game. I didn't do any instant reactions to any of these other games. Let's start it off. Oregon and Texas Tech out in Miami for the Orange Bowl. I was very surprised with this football game. The reason why is I thought that from an offensive standpoint, we'd have a bit more than we got. I really thought we would. Was it a great game on either side? No, not really. But it still could have been a lot better. Could have seen a lot more than what we got from a standpoint of the football. We didn't get. By the way, Mountain has committed to South Carolina, the 3-star from. I'm about to look him up. So they got their second commitment from Warner Robins High School out in Georgia. The second pledge of the 2027 class for South Carolina looks to continue to get some things going. Hopefully that the portal will be much kinder to South Carolina than it has been so far this year. Because now we got the transfer portal that opened up just over 15 hours ago. And look, it's exactly what I thought it was going to look like. It is one of these scenarios and one of these, how should I say, situations where you are now entering a new era in college football. Today was the first of them, or yesterday was. Again, from an offensive standpoint, I thought Oregon would be much better. I didn't think that they were great. I thought that Texas Tech defense did their job for the most part, holding them to 309 yards of offense. It's not like Texas Tech's offense did any better. Ended up with 78 yards rushing. That was an Oregon team that in the first half had just -5 yards on the ground. They end up with 64 on the day. Texas Tech with just 215 yards of offense. The biggest difference, though, Texas Tech had 4 turnovers. And a lot of them were key. They were plays that could have ended up in the opposite, going the opposite way for Texas Tech. Kind of cost them. You force a turnover on downs at the 2-yard line. You're starting to drive down the field. You get to the 26-yard line, and Cam Dickey fumbles. Gets the football punched out. And look, man, that's on Dickey, man. Got to hold on to the football. It's not like Texas Tech was any better, though. These are their first several drives of the first half. 3 and out, interception, missed field goal. So that's an opportunity to get points. 50 yards of your 215 came on one play. One play. So realistically, Texas Tech got held to under 200 yards of total offense today. Missed field goal, fumble, 3 and out. First drive of the third quarter, you have a 3 and out. Your defense, however, forces another turnover on downs. Oregon got very aggressive in this football game. They went forward on 4th down a lot, and I did not expect that from Dan Lanning. They were 4 of 8 on 4th down. They went for it 8 times in one game. One game. They went for it 8 times on 4th down. Just incredible. Third would not matter. Bear Morton gets sacked. He fumbles the football. And Malachi Uyunglele ends up returning it all the way to the 6. That would lead to the first touchdown of the game from Jordan Davidson. Today where running game was not even close to being on target. Malik Benson had a pretty good game through special teams. Special teams was a big factor in today's game. I was surprised, however, that well, not really surprised, because if you take away the 50-yard run from Jacoby Williams, Texas Tech only had just under 40 yards rushing. So they score off of that. Then Texas Tech has a great drive going. They get all the way to the Oregon 34. It's 13-0. They have an opportunity to get a score. They take the direct snap. They get shut down in the backfield on 4th and 1. I didn't like the play call. Take the points in a game like this. They're going to be hard to come by. But Texas Tech strikes right back on defense. They get another 4th and 2. Dan Lanning rolls the dice again, and they get picked off, and it ends up getting picked off. That's what it's all about, man. Ben Roberts gets his 3rd interception in the last 2 games. Ben Roberts had a really damn good game. So did Jacob Rodriguez. Texas Tech, hey, this is their opportunity. They get backed up a couple times. It's 2nd and 16. They get a 13-yard game, and they end up getting the first down. Was it controversial first down? Yes, it was. Troy Carter gets all the way inside the 10-yard line, and Bear Morton tries to get it greedy, tries to go to Morton, and it ends up getting picked off. Oh, by the way, let me just tell you. There's a reason why guys like Brandon Finney were freshman All-Americans. Dude had a really damn good game today. A really damn good game. Pair of interceptions and a fumble recovery. And a pair of tackles. He was all over the field. And he earned his flowers. They end up forcing a field goal. Ends up leading to a field goal. Texas Tech goes 4 and out the next drive. They forced a missed field goal. Texas Tech turns it over on downs. And then Oregon finally scores on a touchdown. And that was it, man. Boring game. Very sloppy game on both sides. Very, very sloppy game. I don't have a good feeling about Oregon going into next week's game against Ole Miss or against Indiana. I guess that's who they play. I don't have a good feeling, and even I know it's a rematch. I don't have a good feeling. Oregon did not look dominant against that Texas Tech defense. And I know it's the number one defense in college football. I think that Indiana will be much more aggressive compared to what Tech was doing because Tech took away the deep play, but all Dante Moore did was kind of check it down and let his playmakers work. It's what ended up happening. If we count missed field goals, and we'll consider them turnovers, guys, by the way. "13 turnovers combined between the two teams. That includes missed field goals, interceptions, fumbles, and turnover on downs. 13 freaking turnovers. What a sloppy game that was. Just an incredibly sloppy game. I think that going into this one against Indiana next week, Indiana's opening up as a 4-point favorite. And we'll get into this one really fast. But before I end it off, look, Texas Tech spent a lot on the portal, and they did really good. They showed improvements. Offensively, though, you've got to get weapons. And I know it sucks for a guy like Baron Morton. So nobody, it sucks for a kid like that. He fought his ass off the entire season. Had to deal with injury. And did I think he had his best season? Not really. I think they toned it back a good bit now that Mac Leftwich came in. It's not like there was much of a difference between him and Zach Kitley, but Leftwich is more of a conservative type of play caller. He's not going to take risks down the field, and Baron Morton just isn't that type of athlete. So I would expect for your next quarterback, Brennan Sorsby is going to be the number one guy that is going to be on a lot of people's mind and should be on a lot of people's mind. And I know LSU is already talking to him, and there's already the chatter about, oh, he's going to go here. Guys, depending on what happens with the Trinidad Chambliss situation, and we'll probably know a little bit because of Austin Simmons entering the portal, I do believe that Chambliss will be back. What does not surprise me if he ends up at LSU. Now, there is some situations where there are currently some situations where there's the trouble with the waiver. There's trouble with other crap that's going on with the NCAA and how it's handling the waiver situation. We're hearing that it's not going as well as they were expecting, but that's out of Trinidad Chambliss's hands. So hopefully he gets to be able to play. I don't really know what to expect throughout the rest of this year. You'd love to see a kid like that play in once again, but again, we just don't know with how the NCAA is with these new guidelines and these rules that they have for waivers. So anything can happen with that one. Shout out what Jacob Rodriguez and what Ben Roberts was able to do with the linebacker position. Leaders left their mark as Texas Tech Red Raiders, and really excited to see what they have in store at the next level, man. Heck of a season for Texas Tech. They're gonna complain about, and they're gonna get clowned on, saying, Texas Tech paid so and so a lot of money just to make it to the college football playoff quarterfinal. Guys, they made the college football playoff and then won the Big 12 title. Oh, by the way, had the most improved defense in all of college football too. Just saying. Alabama and Indiana. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh. Boring first quarter. I will say that. Alabama, with their worst offensive outing in a very long time. I did not expect for this. I did not expect for Ty Simpson to struggle this bad throwing the football. I do expect him to be back as Alabama's quarterback next year. But your targets were not utilized throughout the game. Isaiah Horton had only 2 catches. Jeremy Bernard, 4 catches for 60 yards. 1 went for 34. Josh Davis with 37 for 411. Ryan Williams, I mean, I don't think he had a bad game, but I mean, you think about where his production was last year compared to this year, it certainly dipped. And this is a guy that has struggled with drops. This is a guy that I just don't believe is an elite receiver right now. I don't. And his stats can say otherwise. Guys, I look at how he played. I didn't think he was good this year. I thought he took a huge step back. Thought he struggled with drops. Thought he struggled with his route running. And I thought he struggled in pass protection, or in his run blocking too. He's just not a physical guy. It gets so bad, Austin Mack has to come in. It's a rough way for Bama to lose that football game, man. You have the first quarter where Alabama forces a 3-and-out from Indiana. You get the football at your own 41, so you're getting great protection, or you're getting great field position to start off the game. This is a great opportunity for you to kick off a great drive. You get all the way to the 37. It's 1st and 10. Daniel Hill gets blown up in the backfield for a 4-yard loss. Ryan Williams, they go deep for him, and it's broken up. Good protection. They got to punt the football. This is a masterclass drive from Indiana. A 97-yard drive. And you know what they did? They split the workload. Kalen Black and Roman Hemby were big factors in this drive. Kalen Black runs for 2. Kalen Black runs for 6. 3rd and 2. Fernando Mendoza to Elijah Surratt. Elijah Surratt again. Elijah Surratt has 3 catches already for 16 yards. You go back to the ground game on 3rd and 1. And and Roman Hemby gets a 2-yard gain. Roman Hemby for 1. Fernando Mendoza to Charlie Clutch Becker for 4. Gets all the way to the Alabama 40. Guys, you can't leave Charlie Becker on an island. He's going to make you pay. He's been one of the more underappreciated receivers in the Big Ten, and he's going to be one, and he's the most clutch receiver on that Indiana roster. We've seen it time and time and time and time and time again. Penn State, Big Ten championship, and now tonight. Or yesterday. Kamari Black for 5. Kamario Black for 6. Fernando Mendoza to Eric Williams for 9. Kamari Black for 7. At the Alabama 13. Roman Hemby for 1. Fernando Mendoza to Nowinowski for nothing. Roman Hemby for 1. End of the first quarter. Nico Radicic gets it through the uprights. It's 3-0. Great drive. Great opening drive. I know it's not you didn't end it in 6, but it's a win. And you're challenging the front 7 of that Bama defense to take chances. Kevin Riley goes nowhere on back-to-back runs. Ty Simpson gets flushed out of the pocket and ends up just falling a little bit short. Indiana has to call a timeout initially. Then Alabama has to call a timeout to change up the play call. 4th and 1. This was an interesting 4th down call, in my opinion. And that pretty set up the rest of the game and pretty much described the rest for Alabama. It is 4th and freaking 1. And we decide to go with the direct snap to Daniel Hill, who flips it to Jeremy Bernard, and he gets shut down right before he gets to the line to gain. When they tried that tricky stuff, that was a great job by that Indiana defense. They got cute, and Indiana took advantage of it. You know what Signetti said? All right, you want to get cute on us? We don't have to get cute. We'll run the MFR right down your throat. There's a holding, but it doesn't matter. There's a holding on the first play, but Roman Hemby gets it right back for 21 and picks up a first down. Roman Hemby for 2. Incompletion to Charlie Becker. Charlie Becker come right back across the middle on a deep post. Touchdown. We take advantage of turnovers. Indiana struck very quickly. You have an Alabama gets to the 37, and then they get stupid. So they got to punt the football. Indiana does the same. Alabama gets the football right before, with about 6:30 to go in the half. They're starting to drive down the field. We've seen this version of Bama before, where they're taking everything in front of them and they're letting their offense work. Josh Wavis for 8, Daniel Hill for 5, Daniel Hill for 5, Ryan Williams for 13, Daniel Hill for 3, Kevin Riley he gets stuffed. They're on the opposite side of the 50 with an opportunity to score. Ty Simpson for 9. They get the first down, all right? Trying to see where it was. Ty Simpson picks it up, tries to go for more, and he gets it knocked out. And it's a great play. It's a good decision by Ty to read that. He's got to slide, though. It gets forced out by, I think, I'm trying to see if Indiana has their roster. It ends up getting forced out by D'Angelo Pons, who's one of the best DBs in the Big Ten and probably one of the best DBs in all of college football. Forces the fumble, and Isaiah Jones picks it up. Got to slide, man. Live to see another day. Indiana takes it, and they see. I was comparing Georgia's offense to what a military is. And what Georgia has done, I don't know my daggone mic plugged in. What Georgia has done majority of the season is that they move like a military in orderly fashion, taking what's in front of them. And when they take a shot, they see a chance to strike, they're going to take a shot down the field. And they're going to find ways to get 6. That's exactly what they did. 3:04 for Indiana. Roman Hemby for 4. Fernando Mendoza for 3. You go to the 2-minute warning. Fernando Mendoza for 7. Roman Hemby for 8. Roman Hemby for 3. Roman Hemby for 7. Already close, knocking on the door of the Alabama red zone. Fernando Mendoza to Kamari Black for 11. Bray Hubbard has to force him out. Norakowski for 5. Kamario Black for 5. Kamario Black for 4. And Fernando Mendoza goes to Omarion Cooper for 1. 17-0. 17-0. They're shooting themselves in the foot, and it is costing them big time, man. A turnover on downs and a fumble leads to 14 points. And then Indiana took advantage right after that. They forced a 3-and-out on the first drive. Indiana marches right down the field, 10 plays, 79 yards, and they look like a freaking machine. 3rd and 3, Fernando Mendoza goes for 8. 3rd and 1, 24-yard touchdown to Elijah Surratt. Bama finally gets a field goal, but what does it matter? Indiana strikes quick. 31-yard pass to Nowalski for 31. Kamari Black for 15. Kamari Black from 25, touchdown. 3-and-out. And Indiana just begins to pile it on their ass. Roman Hemby for 18, touchdown. They own the line of scrimmage, and they dominated. They created turnovers. They forced Alabama to get off the field and into 3-and-outs or 4 or whatever. They forced turnovers when it mattered most. Alabama's defensive line had no answer for the Heisman Trophy winner. And even though he didn't have the greatest of stats, you know what he is? He's a damn field general. They had no answer for Indiana's rushing offense. Roman Hemby and Kalen Black both combining for just under 200 yards on the ground. Fernando Mendoza had 16 yards on the ground. 200 yards of total offense and 3 scores for Fernando Mendoza. Charlie Becker, Mr. Clutch, coming up with 2 catches for 51. You have Omar Cooper, 3 for 45. Elijah Surratt, 4 for 40. Riley Nowalski, 3 for 36. Got to take a phone call. We'll be right back. They got the brakes beat off of them, man. There's nothing else I can really say other than that. I have a very bad feeling about what Indiana might do to Oregon next week. The way that Oregon played this past week against Texas Tech doesn't give me any confidence that Oregon is going to go play for a national championship this year. Just don't see it, man. I don't. And I like Oregon, but I just don't see a scenario where Oregon's going to be able to keep it close. And I know it's hard to beat the same team twice. Oregon has shown me otherwise. If Oregon is not on next week when they play Indiana, they're going to get run out of Atlanta. That's what's going to end up happening. All right. Last one of the night, the one that I was at, Ole Miss and Georgia. Can't say enough good things about what Trinidad Chambliss did. All-time quarterback performance that we saw from him. Really, really impressive display from Chambliss. Man, what a freaking day that it was to be a guy like Trinidad Chambliss. One of the best performances that we've seen in the Sugar Bowl. Trinidad Chambliss was just making freaking play after play after play after play. Just when you think you have him in your grasp, he finds a way to get outside the pocket and run the football effectively. Keywan Lacey with a Warriors performance. Got shut down early on in the first half, but turned it on in the middle of the third and fourth quarters. Really, really had a damn good game. Harrison Wallace and Dejon Stribling. 16 catches between the two and 278 yards. Massive, man. Massive, massive. I was expecting for Georgia to run the football like they had done all year long and to find a way to get that Ole Miss rushing defense that had struggled at times during the season to find a way to claw from behind. And at start, they did. It was almost like the Mississippi State game in the first quarter. But this is a second half team, and Ole Miss proved that. Fourth quarter, it was fireworks. Georgia had a little bit of the momentum. It's 24-13. Yeah. Excuse me. 21-12. And Ole Miss turns it over. It's an opportunity for Georgia to take advantage. And Peyton Woodring misses a 55-yarder from well short. I don't know why Kirby let Peyton Woodring out there anyway. By the way, Lucas Carnero, the former Western Kentucky kicker, drills 3 from 45 plus. 1 from 55, 1 from 56, 2 career longs. And he could have made them from 70, is what Coach Golding said in the press conference. Drilling. Came out swinging with some field goals. He launched piss missiles out in the open. And it was impressive. Absolutely impressive. Ole Miss finds their way back. Trinidad Chambliss plays like a warrior. Gunnar Stockton took some shots in the game, and he still played like a warrior. The problem is that it's 1st and goal at the 2-yard line for Georgia on the second to last drive of the game, and you can't get 6. You have to settle for 3, and you got to hope that Trinidad Chambliss doesn't do anything with 56 seconds left. You have a busted coverage. Yes. You have a busted coverage on the outside with Dejon Stribling and Dalen Burnett. Dejon Stribling finds a little bit of separation and pulls in a massive catch and puts Ole Miss in field goal range. Huh? Yes. But shout out Pete Golding and the Ole Miss Rebels. Something that none of them thought would be, I wouldn't necessarily say remotely possible, but there was. All right, I don't know what happened to my camera. Apparently my browser has lost connection to my camera. I don't know what's going on with the camera. But I apologize real fast. We're going to have to go without the camera for the rest of the show. But again, really impressive display. All right. Am I back? Do I have my camera back? If you guys are in the chat, can you give me a thumbs up if I'm back on camera? Is the camera back or anything? Anybody know if we are back on camera? Yep, we're back. I just had to look right here. All right, we're good. Look, man. Georgia had this football game. And their loss pretty much solidifies that I don't know if we are getting anything known as a dynasty anymore in college football. We're going to have these revolving door of champions come through the college football playoff. That's what I think is going to continue to occur. That's what I think is going to transpire over the next several months of the season. That's what's going to be the biggest difference between what you have right now and what you may have in the future. You're not going to have the same champions like you've had the last 10, 15 years of the year. You're going to have continual new national champs over the course of the new era of college football, with NIL playing a role, with the expanded playoff. But the top 4 seeds are now 1-7 through 2 years, getting a double bye. You got to eliminate it. Got to eliminate it. Who is it going to benefit? Let everybody play in the first round. 1 versus 16, 2 15, just like the NC2A tournament is set up, which is what's going to end up happening. So that's unavoidable. So, tough loss for Georgia, man.
I don't think their run is completely over. I just think they need to get adjusted, and I think they need to make the right changes that are going to be having to be made over the next couple of years in order for them to continue to be a contender in the SEC. But make sure you guys hit the like, share, and subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell notification so that you are notified every time we post a new video, post a new short, or go live. You guys are the best. We appreciate all of you always for joining in. Y'all have a great rest of the week, and we will see you all next week. Y'all have a great day.